welcome everybody back to Wilder Minds. We are back, baby. We're back.
Yeah,
Took a little hiatus there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Been a little while.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
Yeah, we have a lot going on, a lot to fill everybody in on. It's going to be exciting, though. We got the next 10 weeks. We're going to be doing this kind of in real time. It's going to be exciting to kind of see what happens because Dropped is finally coming on the air. Everything we talked about all summer long, filming, everything we did, it's all come to life, and it starts today.
Yeah.
Basically.
Literally today.
Yeah. You just watched it. If you're listening to this, you just watched it.
Hopefully you watched it. Hopefully you liked it.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a lot of insights, too, on just, not from my side, like a lot of the production things behind the scenes, but just really go in depth on just the minute details of Dropped and everything that happens. And, you know, what you see in the episodes, we are pretty microscopic in our storytelling, and that's why Dropped is different, the way we tell that story. But we're going to go even deeper and go deeper.
To talk about some of the stuff you didn't see in the show.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, important.
And if you haven't watched it or you're wondering where the hell to watch it, Dropped is actually on Outdoor Channel right now. So it'll be available in multiple places after it runs on TV, but you can check it out over on the Outdoor Channel. So
8 p.m. Fridays.
Yep.
8 p.m. Fridays is the original run. Then it's going to rerun throughout.
Yep.
The other thing is if you're looking for Dropped right now, it's on Amazon as well. So you can look it up on Amazon Prime. The first 4 seasons are on there for sure. There's all seasons, but 4 are free, so you can watch those. And, of course, YouTube as well for the older seasons. But we're back, Outdoor Channel, Friday, 8 o'clock.
Yep.
I got to just ask this question because I always get it confused. What the hell season actually is this?
9.
Is it 9?
9.
Okay. I don't know.
9.
Is it 9?
There's times where I'm like, I think we're 10
like
years
10.
in.
It's 9.
And then I'm like, maybe we're 11 years in because we started, but we took a few years off. So season 9. Okay.
So we went solid until 2018.
Yep.
Then we went 2018, 2022, 2025.
Right.
Production years.
Okay.
Yep.
So we had some gaps in there.
Well, we took some time off for Travel Channel.
For Travel
we did
Channel.
Go to the Wild,
Yep.
and then COVID, and we couldn't
Yep.
do season during COVID.
Yep.
So I think we couldn't do 2020 or 2021 for COVID. So, anyway, I just like to know in my head because
I get it confused because we started on Sportsman Channel and it was seasons 1 through 4.
Yep.
Right.
But then the Outdoor Channel, when they bought Sportsman Channel, moved it. But they consider season 1 for them actually season 5. So they refer back to things like, we need season 2.
We just changed it
And I'm like,
all.
that's the one that we did. And they're like, no, our season 2. So when we get all the notes back and forth, I'm always like, because they changed it to their season 2, not actually
it's 9
season
now.
2.
Like we just went through this, like the network, and because they were confused, we said, "Hey, this is the 9th season. Let's just run 9."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, this is 9," because we have to label everything, for trafficking and the network.
It was all jacked up.
Yeah, so it is 9.
Yeah. Someone asked me, I'm like, season 15. We've done 15 of them. I have no idea. It's, at this point, time just ran together.
Well, I do know it's been 15 years since our first one.
Yeah.
So I know that because I keep track of my son's age.
Yeah.
And the first one, he turned 1 when we were out there. So that one's a pretty easy one. But, season 9, listen, I don't know, I'll just speak for myself. Like, it never gets old.
No.
You'd think having done something so many times over the years, you might be like, okay, but the anticipation, the excitement, the nerves, the adrenaline, all of it is still every bit as real for me today as it was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I loved about this season because we kind of started doing something unique here with Dropped. For a long time there, we were all about kind of popping all around, right? Going to these different rivers or different places and having these different experiences. And then I think collectively we all just kind of agreed, like, we've got one area that we really, really, really like.
Yeah.
And it's for a lot of different reasons. But we decided that we're gonna go back there.
Well, it's never the same.
Year.
Yeah.
It's never the same.
Never.
Alaska, people might say, well, it's not like going to Ohio and hunting the same property year over year, right? You can pretty much expect the deer are going to come out here. You start to learn it. It's not like that at all.
No.
I mean, it's basically you hit the ground running and whatever happens, and it is never the same.
Yeah.
We've never had the same trip once in nine seasons.
And I think the cool part is the weather's always different.
Yeah.
I mean, there's structurally it's usually the same, but when you get it's different. In the wildlife, that changes every year.
Yeah.
And I think, we'll get into this. Like, it was not even the same flow that we had when we went in 2022 when we filmed season 8. It was completely different. So if you went by what happened 3 years prior, you were shit out of luck.
Yeah. Like you failed miserably.
Because it's not.
Yeah. But that's the thing that I always think about with Dropped. You know, we've talked about this when we're out there, and we're back here doing our thing, jamming away, right? And we go in and we peek in that area of the world for this like small window in time. But that place is still churning right now, and it's still doing what it does. And that valley is very much alive all day, every day.
Yeah.
It's hard, you know, I guess we don't really think about that. And then we get there and we're like, oh, what's going on? Like, the rivers changed, channels have changed, oxbows are now gone and dried up riverbeds and shit's washed out. I mean, there's so many things that happen year to year that it does make it a completely different and unique experience no matter what. So I think that's probably one of the things that I now look forward to the most is like, okay, we've done this spot 3 times. We're about to do it a 4th. What the hell are we going to learn this year?
Yeah.
You know, what's it going to throw at us this year?
At Keefer Brothers, our mission is to pass on what the wild has taught us. Every single step into the wild tells a story, and we've spent years capturing those moments in the rawest way possible. So if you're not afraid to step outside of your comfort zone and you want to go further and live the kind of life that most people only talk about, be sure to visit KeeferBrothers.com. Whether you're there for the stories, the skills, or the connection, everything lives at KeeferBrothers.com and the all-new companion app.
Every shot counts. And when it's time to make it count, you want the best. Winchester Ammunition has built its legacy on a commitment to innovation by continuously pushing what's possible. In the heartland of America, the American legend crafts ammunition that's purpose-built, reliable, accurate, and ready to perform no matter how harsh the conditions. Whether you're hunting or shooting for sport, Winchester will be there.
All right, let's talk about beer for a second. You ever notice there's a big difference between Busch Light drinkers and other beer drinkers? I like to say we live on the wild side. You know, a guy with a Busch Light in his hand, he's a man of the people. He's out there in the wild every day. He's in the trenches smashing bushies with a smile on his face. You know why? Because he doesn't care. He's not looking for a soulmate. He just needs something to wash that damn jerky down. And he's got himself a 12-pack of Freedom in a can. And when that can gets cracked, it's like opening a door to a whole different world. It's just a vibe. And if you haven't felt it, you should. So go grab yourself a case of bushies, give them a rip, and take a walk on the wild side. Wherever your adventure takes you, count on Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's to make it memorable. From the timberline to the campsites to the lake and the range, get your family outfitted with the right gear. With premium brands like Worldwide Sportsman, Ascend, Instinct, Redhead, and Natural Reflections, they've got the apparel and the gear to make it the best adventure ever. Stop by today for a one-of-a-kind shopping experience in-store or online at BassPro.com and Cabela's.com. See for yourself at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's stores. Your adventure starts here.
Well, for everybody that's listening, we're going to dive into episode 1 of season 9, which has aired. This podcast comes out at the same time. So we're going to go through for the next 10 weeks. We're going to give you an inside look of kind of the thought process behind each episode, what's going on, and just give you some insight and some behind the scenes as to kind of some stuff that happened on the way in or stuff that wasn't aired. And then I think we'll save this for a bit later on, but you'll notice this year at the end of every episode, we've got the credits this year from a Hi8 camera, which really gives you an inside look of the behind the scenes. And we'll dive into some of those because there's some funny stories and memories that go on. But let's start with this one going in. It's always like we have to set the tone for the season. And, you know, it to me, it goes by really fast. I mean, it's 22 minutes. It's like it flies by as a television show. But the anticipation going in every year, like we get to Alaska, usually we're early because we got to do gear checks. Mm-hmm. So that's something you don't see in the episode, is that we're there days ahead of time. We're doing gear checks. We have to blow up the rafts. We have to check the tents. We're doing all that kind of stuff. Once we feel good about that, we get through it. There's all these little runs around Alaska, right? We're around Fairbanks. We got battery runs, tape run. We got to grab this. Oh, got to go to the outpost camp to grab this. Go over to Cabela's and Bass Pro. And there's little things, right, that we're always like, ooh, put that on the list. Put that on the list. But then there's something about tucking away that storage unit. It's done. Like tomorrow morning, the gear sits there. We close that garage door, and it's like, okay. All right, now we all go back, and it's kind of interesting. There's like a nervous energy, but it's a good energy. That's what I have. I don't know about you guys from that perspective.
It's a little stressful, I think, because I think now that I think putting all the gear away when we left, I feel much better going back to our new storage unit with, it's really organized now. I feel good about it. But yeah, when you get there and you open that storage unit, there's like, man, how much stuff will we actually need to get? And the more that we've done this, the less we have to buy. Yeah. Like the first few seasons, we had to buy so much. We go up there and we'd have to rent rafts. We'd have to do now we own everything, and there's very little that we actually have to purchase when we get up there. It's just the basic things. Yep. But I think once you close that door, it's a good day.
Yeah, it's time for a beer, and then we all just go back to our rooms. Like, you'd think, we're going to go out and let's party. First of all, I'm done with that shit. But there is like, you just kind of go back and get in the moment. I don't know. For me, it's like my room, everything's laid out. Like I go in and I grab like tomorrow morning's gear, right? Like I'm wearing this layer with this stuff. You got the gun. I'm cleaning my Glock. I'm like, there's things that you just go through the process, and it's like, one more good night's sleep on a mattress, and then let's take a good hot shower in the morning and let's get out of here, because that's the last one we're going to have for a month. So that's just my thought process. What about you?
Yeah, I think the storage unit, it's our last chance to get shit right. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, whatever we have here better be in working order, and it better do what it's supposed to do, or else we're going to run into a shitstorm out there. So that's always a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's also comforting to know, like, okay, we've done our gear checks, we've gone through, and we're ready to rock and roll. The other part is, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but man, and it's going to sound weird, but that storage unit has a smell.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Because it smells like gear that's been out in the wild and been with
like
stale fire,
and just everything that comes with that.
A little bit of sweat.
And so,
rafts, a little rubbery.
The first time we open that unit and I step in there, like I am on dropped at that very moment. Yes, the travel up there, landing in Fairbanks, doing that whole thing, but the minute that unit opens, and for whatever reason, it's like that smell of dropped hits me, I'm like, okay, here we go. And like my mind just kind of shifts over into that mode. And, like you were talking, we've done this for so long, we have so much gear now. Did you guys notice the pile this year that was shit we're not taking?
Yeah.
Because that pile's getting bigger too.
That's
like,
true.
we don't need this. We don't need that.
We actually emptied a lot of stuff this year. I feel like it was like, no, we don't need that.
Well,
we don't need that.
It's a couple things. I think, some of it's obsolete because it's 15 years old.
Yeah.
Some of it is obsolete because now we got much smaller, lighter weight versions after 15 years later. So, everything in that storage unit has had its use at one point in time. But now it's like, well, times have
But
changed.
it is a treasure trove. Like it is like when we get up there, no matter how many times we make a list, we're like, this is what's in there. And then we're always packing going, I don't know where the list was or where I think it was in there. But like going through some of those bags and going, oh, that's where that is. I forgot about that. Like even the raft pump, like this year, like, you totally forget about something like that. And we get in there and it's like, oh, that's right. We did bring a raft pump last time. But then the batteries are dead, so then they got to go back to the hotel and change. There's just like all this logistics that happened during that time period. Yeah. But it's a treasure trove.
It is. But it's also, let's be honest, it's a pretty well-oiled machine at this point.
Yeah.
Like we get there and we go through and we know who's got to do what and who goes through what and how it goes, and it works.
Yeah.
It's like the best way to put it, I guess, nowadays, it's muscle memory.
Yeah.
You just get there and you know what's what. Like,
Yeah.
I could look at a box now and be like, I can tell you exactly what's in there.
Yeah.
Exactly what's in that one. So, because we've just refined it over so many days.
Well, and I will say over the years, we've gotten a lot better at putting it back, to your point. Like this year, I feel excellent about next year.
Yeah,
One, we moved into a heated storage unit,
which
which
is
is huge.
nice. Yeah.
Which they haven't had literally for a decade.
Exactly.
Now with the Jackery, you know, that stuff can't be at
we got
negative 20 degrees.
Yeah, the solar chargers and all that now only getting down to like 65 or whatever they keep it. So it's in a heated unit. But when we did that, we dried everything. We wiped it all down, rolled it properly. Like there's been times where we've had to go, and it's like, and it's not like you can just come back and fix it. So we try our best. Like if you pull the tent that day and it's got snow on that tent, and then you have to put it in the storage unit because you got to catch a flight the next day. So we've learned over the years, like, all right, give ourselves some breathing room on the front end, breathing room on the back end, so that we can get this stuff nice and clean and dry. And so we take better care of our equipment now than when we were younger.
I'll say this too. This is the first year in a long time we knew we were coming back the next year. Right. Because there's been seasons where we're not sure if we're going to do another drop the next year or 2 years or 3 years.
Different location.
Or location
we're going
wise.
to Yukon or we're going to New Zealand, so we got to take it with us.
Yeah.
And this
so
year's
now
like,
we know we can almost skip a day because we've gotten there like 3 days early. It's like, do we need to be there 3 days early?
Yeah. I enjoyed being there.
It is nice to be there.
I just like to get there.
Yeah.
But putting, as far as the other stuff, we put that tent together and it was broke.
Yep.
And that's a good, like you hate putting it together because it's just a process, but one pole was busted and that would have screwed 20 whatever days. We'd have been screwed.
You find that out there, it's bad shape.
And that pole was busted in transit. It was not broken when we took that tent down the last time.
Yep.
But when we put it up, it was broken. So somewhere between when we pulled it down on the final gravel bar until we set it up at the storage unit, it got cracked and broken. So, I mean, could you imagine getting out there, having a snow load hit your tent, and you got a broken pole?
No, we'd have had to do some bush savvy.
It's just, it's shit like that where if you can avoid it, avoid it. You know?
So we moved from storage unit to relaxing night, shower, all that stuff. And then really where you guys are picking up the show, if you're listening to this, is the airport and the flight in, the transport and all that kind of stuff in.
Before we get to that, I want to touch on one thing this year because, yes, normally it's a relaxing. We go back, everybody chills, we're ready to go. The excitement's there, the energy's there. But this year was a whole lot different because some shit hit the fan while we were in Fairbanks.
Charlie.
Prior to going out this year with the whole Charlie Kirk assassination.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were saying like a military, like Charlie Echo. I'm like, what? I'm like, what happened to the plane? I'm like, did I fall asleep?
So confused.
Was I drunk?
No.
What happened?
This year, the day.
Well, of course,
the day before we were supposed to go out.
Yeah, Charlie
was the whole Charlie Kirk, assassination on campus, and it was such a. It was weird.
It was somber.
I don't know how else to put it. I mean, I think it was weird just all around
the world.
But I mean, on one hand, like we're there geeked up and geared up and so excited because this is what we wait all season and all year for. And then something like that happens just as we're about to go do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit.
And it's weird to find out events like that when you're not home. As weird as that sounds, like when you're in Fairbanks and you hear about that stuff. I mean, it was shocking.
Yep.
It really was shocking. And as it unraveled, we're putting our last stuff in the packs and we're getting things situated for the next morning, and more information's coming out on what exactly happened. Yeah. And it was just, it kind of was a downer, man. I got to be honest.
It was. You know what stands out to me is we went to that brewery, and it was somber in the brewery. Like it was a different, like people were very, very and they were all talking about it. Everyone had their phones up, and there was that one guy, I remember he got up and he unleashed inside of that, like out loud saying, just angry. He was angry at people in general. And he got up and made a big scene and walked out, and he was just pissed at the world. Yeah. So it's just a different feeling, like you said, it was just like people were reacting all over the world differently, and it was, and we just happened to be like getting ready to leave civilization and all contact. And it was like, wow, like that was just an insane event.
It was weird, man.
Yeah. It put it into a whole new frame for me. Yeah. Like going out there this year, I just thought about it in an entirely different way.
Yep.
And I don't know, had that whole thing not happened, that I would have thought about it in that way. You know what I mean? And so it's funny how those events, not funny, but it's interesting how those events help shape our perception on things.
Yeah.
And so from one hand, like I said, you're just like, I mean, adrenaline, here we go, to like this somber, holy shit, what just happened.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit different, I
Yeah.
think, this year. A little bit different of an experience.
Yeah. No, it definitely was. I'm glad you brought that up.
But then, drop day, I think the one thing I want to point out for people on drop day, people don't realize how long it actually takes.
It's like
they're like,
it's like a minute and a
you know what I
half
mean?
when we're there in the show, but it's 9 hour day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 9 hours or more.
To put it
It's a full day.
in
And
And we're
perspective,
hundreds of miles north of Fairbanks.
Yes.
Hundreds.
To put it in perspective, we fly into Fairbanks, and that's like, we still have a long ways to go outside of Fairbanks. And, when you're flying in bush planes, it's basically, lawnmowers with a propeller. So, it can take quite a while to get up there. But it's just, usually we leave, depending on the weather. It's always, everything up there when we fly is weather dependent. You guys know we've slept 5 days on the floor of a hangar waiting for planes to come because of weather. So it's always, when we get up that morning, it's like, all right, here we go. The first thing I do is peek out the window. Like, where's the cloud deck at? What are we looking at? If you can see the hills in Fairbanks, because Fairbanks proper sits down in the valley. And if you can see the hills out and around Fairbanks, generally speaking, it's like, all right, you're good to fly. So that's usually the first thing I peek at in the morning to see whether or not we're actually going to get the hell out of there. And then it begins. Most of the time our stuff is already over, sitting at the air service. We take it over, we weigh everything out, we weigh all of our gear out, we put it in tubs and totes, trying to figure out certain loads depending on how many planes and how we're getting out there. High pry gear goes with each one of us. So for those of you who don't know what high pry gear is, that is your own personal gear to start with that you need if shit hits the fan. So I take all of my own high pry. Jay takes his, Chris takes his, no matter what the flight scenario looks like.
That goes with you.
Goes with you all the time. And then it's kind of like in order of survival on, the actual drop location from there. So a lot of times we'll use a shuttle, so we'll send one helio goes in directly from Fairbanks, and then the shuttle planes will be like a caravan with a belly pod or something like that. There's a lot of remote strips up there, especially for mining areas, and so those caravans will fly in, land on a strip, and kind of cut the distance that the helio work has to have in half or more. And so that first helio that goes in usually takes the tent. So outside of like high pry gear, it's really survival gear for the drop location. So the tent, this year we had food, which was badass. We'll get into that as we go forward. And so really it's everything that guy needs in case nobody else shows up, right? Yep. That's kind of how that works. And then the rest of the gear, goes over to on the shuttle with a caravan, and then one by one throughout the course of the day, it's just load and unload, and unload, and try to do it as fast as humanly possible, because when you get a break in the weather, you got to take advantage of it.
Well, you think so to put that timing into perspective, like we're a couple hours into where we're going, just first, right? And then when we land, so whoever goes in on the helio gets into to your point, the runway first in the drop zone. As we land in those shuttles, sometimes we're there earlier, right, than you would be in the drop zone, but then he has to come back to that shuttle spot and then back one guy and then back. So it could be an hour plus round trip just to have one shuttle. So if you're the last guy in, you might be on that runway for 4 hours because of the way everything goes in and goes out. And those planes don't leave until the last person leaves, right? So you got a caravan sitting there, you got gear. We've always landed at this little gold mine. It used to be a working gold mine, and man, I take the time this year. I was all over that place. I was exploring. I was inside of cabins, checking things. And it's basically abandoned.
Yep.
But the strip is amazing there because they used to fly in some big planes. But
it's getting worse though.
It is getting
Yeah.
worse. It's getting worse.
It really is.
No
The one is
doubt.
getting
They
bad.
definitely
Getting real
need to maintain it as it goes forward. But just exploring for hours, and then there was a time where Jason and I were sitting in an old Ford truck with the windows up.
It was a 96 F-150.
F-150.
And it was windy.
It was the only way to get out of the wind. And so the planes had left, and everybody was shuttled out. And so Jay and I were like, well, we're here. So I was like, there's a truck. So we went over there and we yanked on that door, and sure enough, it came open, and we got in there. And there's also this creepy feeling like time ceased to exist. And I'll never forget, we found multiple calendars and everything. Was it September 9th or?
It was like July 9th or something.
It was a date.
In the summer.
It was a date that was circled on just about everybody. So inside the truck up here, there's a date circled on the calendar. But then when you went into where the miners stayed,
the mess hall,
the date was circled on all these things, and that was the date that they were gone.
Yeah.
And when they left, they left. Mm-hmm. And so it just felt like this zombie apocalypse, like one of these movies, where you're just like, you just look around and there's all this equipment, and trucks and things and equipment and Rangers and
millions
upon
of
millions of dollars of stuff without tires sitting there. And it's like, it's eerie, but it's like also so cool because we just get to walk around in there and it's like, what can we find? What treasures are in
here?
There's
bears have gotten into everything.
The grizz damage. Seems like zombies.
Yeah.
And then
everyone we went into, we were checking for bears first because mean, you could see where they ripped right through and went in, and it's like, was he in there now? So then we're going in, and there's a piece of metal that was banging.
Like a horror movie.
Just like a horror movie. The wind, and all of a sudden it go boom, and it hit the thing, and Jay and I both turned around like, what was that? Like, is it a bear coming? Like, it's just got this eerie vibe about that whole scenario. So it's always fun to land there because there's always something.
Well, if you remember, you went back on a helio all the way from our extraction point season one.
Yep.
Chris and I flew into this camp when it was hopping.
It was.
So we flew back into this mining camp, and there was people everywhere. We went down, and they said, come on, because we were starving. We were starving that year. We'd lost a lot of weight. We go down into the mess hall, and there's like 20 miners in there, and they come on in.
Sweet old lady. They had I'll never forget, chocolate cake and coffee. She was like, come on in. She's like, oh my, this old lady, she's like, you look like you're starving. I'm like, we're pretty hungry. And she goes, there's chocolate cake. And we sat there with a fork and annihilated chocolate. She brought us a coffee. And I'll never forget tasting that coffee because we had just drank 30 days worth of fire brewed coffee. And then she got one out of the machine and handed it to me. And I was like, this is so clean and good. Yeah. I was like, wow, this is nuts. And so we sat there. Yeah, we got fed at the miners' camp. There was a working full-blown mine at that point.
Yeah, it was.
But now to see it 15 years later, all dilapidated.
We've seen it.
You've seen the transition.
And then you see it desolate, and there's no man tracks. There's just grizzly tracks.
Yeah.
There's no beds that have any. I mean, everyone left.
Yep.
And there is personal, effects laying around in certain spots, and we just poked our head in and out. And but it's interesting that played such a role in these people's lives for a long time.
Yeah.
And then. Gone. Nobody's been back.
Yep.
Which is nuts.
The price of gold, I have a feeling it might be fired back up again here in the next little bit. I have a feeling they're going to go back.
The whole ghost town scenario, the other thing you see with it is, and I never went there when it was working. So I didn't, like you said, I took the helio and rode it all the way back to Fairbanks. So I didn't get to go there, but I was there this year and looking at it to see what the Alaskan weather has done to it in 15 years.
Yeah. Crushed it.
I mean,
it's crushed it.
It is worked like big time.
Yeah.
So
but it's always a fun part of the transition in. So it gives you something for that guy that's waiting. Again, for our viewers that are watching, you're seeing a 2-minute transition from Fairbanks in the landing of like one or two different planes that are coming in. But we've been doing that. We're going on hour 8 or 9 when we finally connect again, and we're actually together, all 4 people on the same little gravel bar. And the gravel bar that we landed on even shifted since 2022. I mean, that was probably the last time we're ever landing on that gravel bar. I mean, that's probably an unusable gravel bar right now based on just a couple of years of river erosion and what's happened there, especially with the water the way it was when we rolled in. So,
I'd talk about the ride in real quick, just the flight in, especially when you're in the helio and you're cruising across there. I mean, first north of Fairbanks, you go across the flats right there, and the flats are just like a giant myriad of slow, flat moving, river, and then just ponds and pockets and marshes, and it's all kind of stitched together with that boreal forest. So you got all the black spruce that like just runs the corridors, right, and kind of stitches all that stuff together, almost like highways. And it's awesome because oftentimes when we're leaving, like there might be a little bit of color change happening in Fairbanks.
Yeah.
But man, you start to get into the flats and we start to make our way north, and then all of a sudden you see that striking. It's just that bright gold yellow of, you know, of the willows and all that stuff set against that dark green. And I don't know, for me, when I start seeing that, like, I'm like, okay, here, like, we're coming. Here we go.
I mean, we're coming from late August, early September, and it's green as hell in Michigan.
Yeah.
So for us, we're transported into mid to late October instantly.
Yeah.
And you get the feel of fall. You get that cold, you know, that wind blowing at you.
Well,
and all of a sudden,
wet leaves, that smell of fall with
you're
those
there.
wet leaves.
You're there. It's like you fast forward into, to me, it takes me like, it's rut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go from
it
as
does.
a whitetail
And
guy.
you go from golfing to rut in 1 hour. Like, whoa.
It does.
Which
And
has happened.
even that trip from Fairbanks, we leave Fairbanks, and by the time we get to the drop,
it's fall.
It's like we went into mid-fall. We
Yeah.
went from late summer into mid-fall, just like that.
Just like that.
And I think it's so cool just because that whole journey, and I find myself nowadays on that whole journey. I got my little playlist and I put my headphones in or on, and just soak it all in, just taking it all in, looking at the land. Of course, I'm always looking for moose, trying to spot them. And we've seen them a lot down, like looking down at lakes and stuff like that. See those big paddles out there in the water or whatever it may be. And it's just such a calm before the storm, I guess you could say.
Maybe for you.
For me it is.
And me, not him.
Yeah,
he's
not
all.
Jason,
he's got more. He's got. Don't wake
taking
him up.
the
Don't
drammy hammies.
Drammy over there. Drammy man.
I think I took 4
shit.
Drammies on the way in. I know I did.
You remember?
My body's numb, basically. I'm basically a toe, just sitting in the seat.
Just a giant elbow.
the toe
Nothing.
sitting in the seat.
I remember the season you took Drammies and the plane didn't show up. Remember that?
Yeah.
And you were laid out on the gear. You're just like,
Yeah,
So
I
what
took
do
too
I do?
many.
What do I do?
I think I did a Xanax too because we had helicopter. That was Yukon and
Coconuts.
so it was all mixed up and it was not good.
good.
Not a good situation.
concoction.
Well, we did have. So we also had a newbie on this one because we had Louis with us. So, so we've. I don't want to say that you take it for granted because you never do when you see it, but we've seen it so many times. So you hit the flats, and then after the flats come the range, then the range, and then you hit, then you go up. Now you're flying it. You're at the peaks, and you're going over the peaks at 100 feet, 200 feet. Like you're not very high up above the peaks. As we were coming across that flat, when we hit that Yukon River flat, I looked over at Louis and I was like, "What do you think?" And I mean, his eyes were pie plates, just like I've never seen anything like this, and he hadn't. And I think it was fun seeing it through his eyes again. Like it was the first time, and it was just like it was shocking for him, you know. And I saw him one time; he had the camera in his hand. And he was just staring into the abyss, just looking out. And then he realized, like, oh, I have to film some stuff. But and I told him, I reached over one time. I said, put it down. Like, you're all right. Take it in for a second. Like, you don't have to film everything. Put it down. And he was just like, all right. And he just stood there and stared out the window. He was just enamored by it.
How could you not?
Yeah.
I still do, and I've been up there how many times?
Exactly. When you see it that first time, man, it's there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
The part I think is cool, like, it's like you get more pristine the further it goes, and it sounds weird because it's all pristine and untouched, right? But in the flats, you got the big Yukon River. The river is dirty and it's muddy and it's got tons of sediment because of all the water that flows into it, all the tributaries and the systems that flow into it. But then the further we get, and as you start to go through the humps and bumps, you'll cross a river and you look down, you're like, ooh, that's blue.
Yeah.
And then it gets bluer, and then it gets bluer, then it turquoise, and then it's clear, and it just like, it just feels like it gets more and more perfect the further into it, we get.
It's hard. It's not easy to get up there.
No,
I mean,
not.
We're so far up there, and when you look at it on the map and you actually see how far north we basically fly the entire state of Michigan from Fairbanks into where we're going.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is.
That is wild.
It's actually, I think it's further north to south.
It's just
than the state is.
We're way up there, and but when you get into it and to look at Louis and to remember, like, that was how we saw it the whole first season. And I think that's why that season was just something different. It was everyone experienced, the audience experienced a DIY Alaska hunt through our eyes that we'd never done it before. And it's kind of cool to see it through Louis' eyes.
Yeah. So on the reverse of the going to the mining camp, because usually I ride the Helio in from Fairbanks, go straight to the drop. I get to sit there and watch that plane take off.
First form energy.
By myself, which is always a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Because you see that plane fly away and you're like, this is the solitude that I'm after. Holy shit, what if he doesn't come back for a while? Like, what if I'm here for a day or two by myself with nobody here to hang out with me? So all those crazy thoughts go through my head, and I'm sitting there, asking the funniest thing you could ever do is ask a bush pilot how long something's going to take.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to get an answer, ever, just because it's going to take however long it takes. That's usually the answer. So
I don't know when I come back.
Yeah.
When I get back.
So when the plane takes off after I get dropped, I'm there solo, and I'm just sitting there waiting and riding it out, you know. And we usually try to get one camera in second, and this year that was Louis. Louis came in second, so I was sitting there, and I didn't know if it was going to be you or Louis when we had left. We hadn't decided yet, so I'm sitting there, and the plane comes in, and I'm doing my thing, filming, and bam, plane touches down, and I see it's Louis, and he gets out, and same thing. I mean, he's like almost out of breath, looking around, and he turns to me. I will never forget this. He turns, and he looks right at me, and he goes, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, it was like a giant revelation of where in the world am I right now and how did I get here?
Not Michigan anymore.
I mean, he was just enamored, I guess would be the word. Trying to take it all in. And, I said, what do you think? And he was just, he literally couldn't even talk. He was just like, this, I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Yeah, I think I really like the shot that we got when you got dropped in. And part of the production style is really that first opening credit sequence is just us getting in. Because there's so many moving parts, and we're in different planes, and we're not always together to tell a great story. So the opening credit sequence of Dropped Episode 1 is always with music, and it always just gets you there. But the more and more we've done this, the better our shots get, the more beautiful the shots get. This year we had the Osmo 360 that we had for the first 5 days. We'll talk about that later.
Talk about that at some point.
It's somewhere else. But just the ability for us to tell that story through that 360 camera. And then I really love the shot. I think my favorite shot of the whole opening sequence is when you were taking pictures, you set the Osmo up behind you, and you had the Helio flew from left to right, and you're taking a picture with your Fuji camera you brought, and it just document, like, you were alone right there, and that
and the plane's like, you know what I mean, up against the wall.
And it goes right across and flies out of there, and it's just I don't know why, that's a raw, cool. That's probably my favorite shot of that whole opener. And but yeah, I mean, that's the production side of things. I don't do a lot of running the camera in the plane because it makes me sick. And so Louis, whoever goes with me, always knows you're a plane guy. You're in charge of majority of the plane shots. As soon as we get to the ground, I'll take over. But no, we did it, and you guys did great with your Osmos too, like beautiful Osmo footage out the windows, and
that little camera for us has changed the game especially for backcountry, and being able to have like a kind of like a POV at a moment's notice. The quality's there. It's on a damn gimbal. When I took that shot, and I'll tell you how I set it up. I had the pile of tent and all the shit was sitting there because I never set the tent up until I have to or I get help. Right, so I'm sitting there and I got the wood stove, and I'm like, I got a magnet on this Osmo. I'm going to stick that bitch right to the wood stove. So I did. I just stuck it there with the magnet and fired it up, and it grabbed onto me, and it was tracking me. I went over and took the picture. So, I don't know. It's so hard because you have to balance, and this is what I think we were talking about with Louis. You have to balance, especially for me, like I want to be in that moment. Like I just want to be here. This is what I'm here for. I want to take this all in. I want to feel all of this. But at the same time, it's like, I got to document
we have a job
to do, you know? And so there is definitely a balance between being in the moment and documenting the moment, because those are two totally different things.
For some of us, the hunt never stops. Grizzly understands that more than most. Rugged, reliable, and built to never back down. Whether you're on the trail, by the water, or deep in the dark timber, Grizzly is by your side. Tough enough to take on the wild and ready for whatever you can throw. Grizzly is committed to products that never let you down. Always on the hunt with Grizzly.
Out here in the wild, precision isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Leupold Optics is built on the foundation of American craftsmanship, where every features function first. For over a century now, they've combined dedication and technology with a relentless put-it-to-the-test attitude, creating optics that stand up when everything else stands down. When it matters most, you need the best. That's what you get with Leupold Optics. While other companies out there warranty failure, Leupold guarantees performance for life. You've got things that matter. Memories, heirlooms, documents, firearms. And we all know that life is unpredictable. At Winchester Safes, they make sure life's unpredictable moments don't take those things from you. They use state-of-the-art methods that refuse to sacrifice quality. They put everything they have into their products, offering proven protection and peace of mind. There's only one safe company worthy of the title, the American Legend, and that's Winchester Safes. Follow at Winchester Safes or learn more on winchestersafes.com. When you're miles from help, second chances don't exist. That's why we shoot Rage broadheads. Massive cutting diameter, field point accuracy, and devastating results when it matters most. Hunt with Rage.
I'm almost never in the moment because it's hard. And you guys too, you're production guys. You're always thinking from a production standpoint. But I'm thinking about what we just shot, what we need to shoot, what comes up tomorrow, where we are in the storyline, how many segments are we in. So I'm never settled, and it's stressful.
Yeah.
It's nonstop. Like, I hope we got enough.
Yeah.
And I think that's why when we get back to Fairbanks, it's so, like, that's when it's a relief.
So on that opening intro, so this will bring us to a good point. So we have this surreal kind of amazing, calm flight in, right? We hope. And then it really starts, and when you're on the ground already, now when Louis gets there, the camera, now we have someone to document you. Mm-hmm. Then Jason's documenting me back at the other place, right? Then we're coming in, the way that the gear worked out, we could come in together. But right then and there, when that last plane hits, he's not waiting. Like, these planes have got shit to do, right? They got to hit other places. So you don't have 45 minutes to be like, all right, here's what you have, exactly what they have, which is a takeoff and a landing, right? Mm-hmm. And so the idea is when we hit the ground and that last person gets out, that to me is the most pure chaos. You got the plane running, it's at full steam, he's going, he jumps out, all the gear's getting done. Maybe he gives you 5 to 10 to just kind of, okay, what do you guys need right here? And then he's gone, right?
Yep.
So it's set up. So you guys, I mean, there's gear stacked off to the left, things everywhere. And it's a matter of like, now what are the shots? What are we getting? We got to get the intro. We got to get right. And so you go through all that. Now that plane leaves and it's gone. And then all four of us look at each other like, oh, hi. Really, we don't talk to
You're
each
here
other.
too.
Yeah, I go, hey, it's good to see you. Like, when we hit the ground, it is business, and we have kind of our everybody knows what to do. And it's just a well-oiled machine to get that. But man, when that plane flies away, then we just got this scattered gear that's been dumped out of the plane. We have no idea where anything's at. We don't know where we're going to put the tent. And then it's like, okay, you know what? I don't give a shit. Let's just take a minute here. And everyone sits down for a second and is like, oh, how was your flight in? Like, was it? And then you're like, okay, now we get to work. But you get to your point, you got to take it in, because it's like, it's chaotic. I mean, it's stressful until that plane leaves.
Yeah. I mean, what's really stressful is we got to get that dropped plane shot. Yeah. You all get there, we get there, and it's like, he wants to get the hell out of there. We've got to get our gear over here. We got to get a tripod. We got to make sure the right lens is on there, and we're scrambling because we know he wants to get the hell out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Louis and I, or whoever I'm shooting with, we got to get on the same page. Are you on the guys, or are you on the plane? Are you wide? Are you tight? Are you in frame rate? Am I shooting regular speed? It's like all this stuff happens within 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, and we have to get that shot.
Have to get it.
Because it's the best shot. It's what it's all about. You're getting dropped.
Yeah.
If the plane doesn't leave you, what in the hell is this all about?
He's not coming back to do another one. He's
coming
gone.
back.
Yeah,
And
he's gone.
here's how tight they run on time. So if you guys remember when I was leaving Fairbanks, I hooked the 360 up. I put it to the tie down.
Yeah.
And as I was putting it to the tie down,
I'm glad I didn't hear this.
I could feel Jay there just boring a hole through me. And I'm sitting there, and so I turn around, and I'm like, "You good with it?" And he goes, "I mean, no. Anytime you put a camera on a plane, it crashes. Just look at YouTube." And I'm like,
The pilot
all right.
says this.
Yeah. I go, all right. And he goes, "We'll see what happens."
Yeah.
He turns around and walks away.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're good. So we jump in the plane. We're getting
Mike,
ready to roll.
I looked at him like, you're getting on that plane, right?
Your ass is getting
I'm getting on this other one.
Yeah.
Your ass is
Without a
getting in
camera.
there. Yeah.
So
So
my death filmed.
So we get in, and now I got the app, and we're in Fairbanks. I'm trying to get it to roll because I turned it on out there. And I'm trying to get it to roll, and I don't know if I like double punched or hit the wrong button or what. But he had fired up. We started the taxi. We rolled 6 feet, and that camera shut off on my phone, and I'm like, oh no, that must mean it's off. Now I'm about to get a damn near 3 hour I got a terabyte card in there, a 3 hour 360 flight that's going to be insanely gorgeous, epic, and the camera power's down, and I'm like, shit. So I'm like, hey, I said that this camera just died, and I turned and I looked at him, and he's like staring at me. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind.
We're good.
We've taxied 6 feet. You could just back her down. I'll hop out. I'll fix it real fast. Nope.
Nope.
Like,
Gotta go.
he literally just stared at me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got you. Let's go. Like, I guess we'll get the shot later.
Yeah.
So to that point, when we landed, I had to pull all the shit out of the plane, and I'm trying to figure out like safe zones for filming, so all that shit goes right. And then I'm like, oh, camera. So I ran back over like as he was getting in, and I hit record.
Yeah.
I'm like, tell those guys when you get to them that this thing's running. Just
They'll know what to do.
They'll know what to do, and
Yeah.
I just let it go. So I'm like, we'll figure it out. But that's how tight they are in time, man. When it's because you don't know if you're going to have time.
Or weather is the biggest thing,
That's it.
right? It's
Yeah.
like
You
you
never
know
know.
you have weather on a radar, and then you all of a sudden, man, it's snowing.
Yep.
So they don't want to mess around. So we have to abide by that schedule getting in. So again, on the show, what you watched is an opening montage of us getting there. What you
7
realize,
different cameras.
Yeah.
Perspectives.
Perspective.
Your Osmo,
Yeah.
Osmo. The 360, my camera,
Yeah.
Louis' camera, GoPro. Like
Yeah.
it was all put together. And none of them had everything we needed, but
Yeah.
together they had everything we
Everything,
needed.
yeah.
And color grade it, and
so
boom.
7 cameras, 8 hours, and multiple trips into a minute or 2 minutes of just pure. We landed, and it's a beautiful shot, and everybody gets to feel what it's like to get in. But the reality is, it's a lot of fucking work to get in.
Yeah.
It's the most stressful day, in and out. Those are the 2 days for me that I'm always like, here we go.
In's the worst. Out's stressful because you just want to get out clean.
Yeah.
But from a production standpoint,
You're
we're
pretty
wrapped.
much done.
We're pretty
Yeah.
wrapped
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different stress because it's just you just want to get
You just
out, and you don't know, and it's the reverse, and then there's
It's
always
reverse.
someone's left there for a while, and then it's like
Usually
oh,
it's you.
see. Yeah, and I'm
First
like,
year it was Casey.
yeah, it's like, oh, see, so, but I enjoy that time too.
Oh yeah.
I love that time
Yeah.
when I'm the only one there, and I know you do. You're the same way. There's just something about it. It's like, I mean, you can scream at the top of your lungs. You can do it. There ain't nobody there. It's like this weird feeling of like this truly alone, like alone.
I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but I have. Like in my head, I've said I am probably one of the most remote
Yeah.
human beings in the world
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
To think about that, like
Yeah.
I am probably further from anything than anybody else in the whole
Yeah, the
world.
buffer between you and the next like civilized area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I might be the most remote human in the world at that
Yeah.
point. It's crazy to think about. It's crazy.
It is.
Like
It is.
I don't know. That's just how my brain works.
No, I'm the same way. But it's like I was sitting there, and you wait to take down the tent, and we'll get into this in the last episode. But it's the same way. It's like I can do anything. I could scream. I'll fire this gun. Bam! I shoot the gun. I'm like, it just goes poof. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like I shot a gun by myself. You know what I mean? But it's like all these things where you're like, there's nothing. And then you go, well, I really wish I would have done that.
You know what
'Cause
I
if
did
do
this
get
year?
stuck here, I probably need that bullet.
You know what I did this year? I ate an apple.
Yeah.
I did.
What did
I took
do?
an apple in with me, and I hit that gravel bar. I'm like, oh, I'm going to wreck this apple.
Yeah.
I laid down. It was kind of windy and cold and rainy, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to eat an apple.
I sat in the tent because it was colder than shit and tried to keep that fire going. Then realized I couldn't get the stove out because it was hot.
Yeah.
So I had to get the cool down period. So it was a whole situation, but we got it. But
Well,
that's
on the
for
way
another episode.
into what we didn't notice this year, and okay, we get in, the plane flies out. Where the hell are the caribou at?
Yeah.
And that was a major storyline throughout the whole season. Is the caribou, the herd was not where we were for the first time ever since
Yeah.
we've been there.
Yeah, it was definitely barren. So to give you guys some perspective, in 2022, we probably had 100 a day going by us. And I mean, they were all over the place. We had Dirty Mike and the boys up on there that we watched all the time. We called, named. We had, I mean, even going back to season 1, Maniac in some aspects, I mean, he's just around the bend, down around, all these different places. Like, we've had them all.
Pouches was there picking caribou off left and right.
He was eating. There was
So
bears
was
in the
wolf.
valley
Yeah.
eating
I mean,
caribou,
like-
wolf eating caribou, and then we get there, and in our minds, it's you can't hunt and fly in the same day. So we're going to set camp. We're going to glass. They're going to be caribou, and tomorrow morning we're going to get up and hammer some caribou up top. And that's not the case.
No.
It was barren ground.
Yep.
I mean, no pun intended on these barren ground caribou. It was barren.
It was.
There was a couple things that were different. That was 100% different. The water was raging.
Yeah.
Way high.
I mean, when we flew over the garden looking down on the way in, I'm like, oh my God, I have no idea how the hell we're going to do that.
Yeah.
So
Like, that
yeah.
was intimidating as shit.
Yep.
That's a
Not
good
gonna
point.
lie.
So even in this episode, we're you know, it shows day 1, day 2 into day 3, but in reality we didn't blow the rafts up because the water was roaring. Like, it was dangerous to get in the water and actually try to row because of how fast it
And
was
they
going.
had a foot of rain like 3 or 4 days before.
Yeah, mudslides, all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff in that range. I mean, that was crazy water speeds.
Here's the thing about water, and this is because I was going back looking at my Osmo footage from the air, and you look at it, and it doesn't feel that bad. But when you're next to it,
Yeah.
and it's roaring, and you hear it, and you can feel that rumble and like
The energy.
in
You
your
can feel the
body.
energy.
You can feel the energy of the river. It's a holy shit moment. At least for me, it is. It's like, and I'm confident on the sticks and in the rafts with all of we've done this for a long time. We know what we're doing, but man, water is a powerful thing.
And I agree with you. So us and our confidence, I'm good with. Like, I have no problem rowing whatever class we're going to do. What you run into with high water, and what I thought was probably the most dangerous this year that we saw along the way, is the sweepers.
Yeah.
Like, because the water level's so high that it's up over the normal bank. So it's running into areas where there's high sweepers, where these, you know, the trees and stuff that are hanging over, and the natural speed of that water. I mean, the rowing you're doing to try to stay online and out of the
You're
sweepers.
looking so far ahead.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And that's I think the more dangerous thing is it's rushing at a speed that it's like you're on a race basically at that point. And if you get offline by just a hair, that water, you have no choice because it's taking you into those sweepers that normally they don't exist.
Yeah.
Right. It's lower. There's a gravel bank or a bar where you can get outside of it, no problem. But the sweepers are the dangerous part when that water's that high. And it's not the confidence in the rower. It doesn't matter how much you've done. The water's taking you where it wants to take you.
You can't row hard enough or fast
Exactly.
enough in some of those.
And dig deep enough.
Dig deep
Exactly.
enough. That's in some of those cases, like you're at the mercy
Yeah.
of the river, and that's a scary thing. And flying in there, I kept looking down, and that's what I was telling myself the whole way. I'm like, I'm waiting for it. Oh, maybe it'll drop as we get higher. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Maybe it was just down here, and there's a ton of runoff and a ton of little tributaries that leak in here. And the whole way up, I'm like, holy shit, it's not getting any better.
Well, and the pressure isn't whether you will drown when you flip it. You're not going to most of the time. It's pretty shallow.
Yeah.
The pressure is your gear.
you're gonna wreck it.
And that is what you get so worked up about is you flip a raft and your gear goes downriver, or it all gets wet, and that changes the dynamic of everything in a second, in a heartbeat. So yeah, you're really looking at those rocks and those sweepers like a bend up, and you're trying to figure out where we got to be. And sometimes, man, like when we got real low, and we'll get into this after the rock garden, man, it got fast.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Well, it was fast all the way up. We hit the ground. When I got out, I could hear it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I jumped out of the plane. I could hear it, and I'm like, holy shit. The first thing I did is I actually walked over to one of the channels. Knowing what all that's supposed to look like, I walked over. I'm like, oh, my God, that's not even there.
Well, yeah.
Like, all of that stuff is gone.
That's what I was going to say.
This is all water.
They created additional channels, or they took over ones that we were used to, like where we can cross in our feet, and we knew that you couldn't even get across. That wasn't happening.
Nope.
But just as fast as it was running, it was lowering over time. So it's roaring out, but you're just hoping over how many days is it going to slow down enough?
Nope.
You're hoping it doesn't, because if it rains 60 miles upstream, it's still coming, right?
Yeah,
like it's still coming to us. So the idea is, when is it going to stop enough where it's going to have time to drain off? And that's what we were kind of checking every day. We were monitoring that water level, by putting sticks out, measuring on different parts, and we could see it. It was starting to come down, and then it would start to clear up, and we're like, okay, now it's getting to a point where we can actually get in and make a run at this.
Yeah.
But it was a big factor.
Yeah,
in
and
Camp
it was a
One.
factor too because the fish were gone.
That's the other thing that goes through my head the whole time I'm flying. I'm like, how am I supposed to do that? Mm-hmm. Like, that is the most stained, like, colored water I've ever seen up that high, especially.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to do that?
Yeah.
So
You'd let the first one go anyway, so it wouldn't.
I would have. Well,
So-
maybe not this year.
Yeah.
Few and far between.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing things different.
Yeah. Nope. I'd let him go.
He'd let
Yeah.
it go. He'd
But
definitely
yeah,
let
like,
it go.
so that sums up, like, I'm on the flight in, I'm taking it all in, and on the other hand, I'm like, where's all the caribou? Holy shit, that river is raging.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, that's why I say the calm before the storm, because it's that last, for me anyway, it's that last kind of final moment of just peacefulness as I'm going in.
Yeah.
And then bam, I hit the ground, and immediately you start analyzing and trying to figure out, get real-time info and intel on what the hell's going on and what's happening.
Yeah. And I think that to bring us up to speed, kind of in conjunction with the episode and how that unfolded, is first night we set the tent and we get up the next morning and we just start glassing from camp.
Mm-hmm.
We see one cow, that's it, and a bear way out. And you fished that that first day and we couldn't catch anything, and you made coffee like normal, and
So Wood Boss, man, I sat back, made coffee, and then took in the sights, because it really is getting your bearings. And
You gotta
we
settle
talk
in.
about this in the episode, but
Yep.
we've been able to glass that hillside a lot, but it changes, right? And I know you're this way too. When you're looking in the glass for the first time, I'm trying to get my bearings on the size. Right. So you're looking through I'm trying to get a perspective. Once I see one moose or one caribou, then it puts it into perspective. But for whatever reason, when you're first doing it, you're looking for like these big animals inside the trees, because the trees look like this big, and you're like, oh, they're going to be, and then you see it and you're like, oh, that's actually right. I'm looking for this little tiny thing inside of it. So once I get the first perspective, then it's just glass as much as you possibly can. And that's the other thing, is you don't realize in an episode of 22 minutes long that we may have glassed for 9.5 hours that day. Like 9.5 hours of just glassing and walking and hiking to get stuff and glassing. And some of that just doesn't make the story, because we're just trying to get the best story out of that day.
Yep.
And sometimes it's literally 9 hours of glassing, because that's what you do when you're there.
Sometimes it's nothing.
It's nothing. And you can't control that, so you have to think about what is the story here. And that's where we all come back at night and get the fire going, and just really, what was the day and what did we get and what do we need to get tomorrow?
And I think that's why Dropped is different, is because we do document that. We document a segment of glassing and we talk through it, and if we don't see anything, we don't just forget that day.
Yeah.
We show it, because that is what we do with this show. We show everything.
Yeah.
Well, and that's also for people that ever want to go do this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sell you false hope. There's a lot of time out there where you're not doing shit.
Yeah.
Because you're glassing and you're waiting for that switch to just flip. And you never know when it's going to be, or how it's going to be, or it could be a bear sneaking up on you. It could be a giant bull moose stepping out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You don't really know what it's going to be, but you have to be on alert 24/7, because it could happen at any moment.
Yep.
So there's times where, like, you sit around for a day and it gets hard. You're like, damn, dude, I can't stare through the spotting scope
Impatient
for another 5 minutes. I've been on the glass for 4 hours straight. You know, you just have to keep going, because I've always said it's 80% glass and 20% on the hunt out there. That's basically how I look at it. But we show that because we want that realistic expectation for people.
That's right.
And that's how it happens in the field, and that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that takes us to the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes us to the end. We do journals. Journals are a big part of the show. You guys get to talk about, just the things, the little things that going through your mind. And that's how this episode ends. At the end of day 2, day 1 is unhuntable. We landed day 1. Day 2 is our first full day. Yep. And that's where this episode ends.
Yeah. Well, we're going to keep doing this every week. We're going to continue to kind of dissect the episode, give you guys a behind-the-scenes feel of what that is for about the next 10 weeks. So it's going to be exciting to talk through. Make sure you go over to KeeferBrothers.com. Join the Brotherhood, man. We got a amazing group of people that are joining in there, and we're putting up new content, new educational series. And we'll say this, the one thing, if you're thinking about doing an Alaska hunt, we have the video and the educational platform for you to go see. It's a DIY. It's a Hunt Academy. It's over 7 hours long of incredible stuff. If you're thinking about doing this, it's detailed, and there's digital products that are tied to it that are at your access that you can just download and make sure that you're checking off your boxes. Recommend at least a year, if not more, if you're going to go do this hunt. But you really got to start prepping for it now. So we built that out for you. It's over at KeeferBrothers.com. You can also download the companion app. And I'd also say this, every week we're launching new stuff on YouTube. So we've been exclusive on the app for a period of time, and now we've got some stuff that's dropping off on YouTube, but we've got more exclusive stuff going to the app. So just go over there, like, subscribe, join the Brotherhood, be a part of the community. We're going to start a dropped chain. So today we'll be talking inside of that community chain. If you got questions for us, drop it in there and we're going to answer it. And we'll send you pictures. And if you're thinking about doing it, join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. So excited to keep building this community.
Yeah, one thing I just want to touch on real quick with the Hunt Academy, especially the DIY, is the one that's up there right now is the basics. That is the 101, right? That is basically, if you're interested in going to the backcountry of Alaska to do this hunt, this is going to give you all that base level knowledge and information that you need to have in order to decide if this is really even right for you, because that is a massive decision. Is it right for you physically? Is it right for you mentally? Is it right for you financially? There's a lot of things that go into a trip like this that people don't realize. So basically what we tried to do is we took like 15 years worth of planning this stuff the hard way and boiled that stuff down into 7, almost 8 hours of straight up wisdom, right?
Yeah.
That's how we like to put it. And like I said, it's the first installment. We've got many more installments to come, but take a peek. This is a hunt. Dropped is a deal that I encourage everybody to try. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but man, it'll change your life.
Yeah, for sure. So with that being said, if you like this episode, give us a rating, 5-star. It always helps. Give us a thumbs up. And we're going to continue this. See you next week after episode 2 of Dropped airs, Friday nights, 8 p.m., Outdoor Channel.
Mama say it's some new day song.
Seeing your arrow vanish in the dark is pure adrenaline. Nocturnal makes it clear. Bright, tough, and dead simple to use. Low light or last light. Track your shot all the way through. Shoot Nocturnal.
Some call it out on the trail. I like to call it the road less traveled. The kind of place where the going gets tough. That's where Tracker Off-Road comes in. Made for those who won't back down. Tracker Off-Road delivers the hardest working machines with the greatest capability at the strongest value in the industry. Built by those who know what it takes and designed for those who don't turn back. Tracker is dedicated to delivering machines that let you get the most out of your day and your dollar. Ready to take on your next adventure? Go with Tracker Off-Road.
Accuracy isn't optional. It's survival. Carbon Express arrows are built for serious hunters chasing clean kills and confidence in every shot. Across the Midwest or all through Alaska, it does not matter. Hunt hard and shoot straight. Carbon Express.